Okay, so Tutankhamun. You definitely know the name, and you've absolutely seen that incredible golden mask. But what if I told you the real reason he's so famous today has almost nothing to do with anything he actually did while he was alive?
No, seriously, just think about that for a second. Imagine you're just a kid and all of a sudden, bam, you're in charge of, well, everything. The entire civilization, the armies, all the wealth. It sounds like something out of a movie, right?
Well, for King Tut, that wasn't a movie. It was his reality. He was handed the keys to the entire Egyptian empire when he was just 9 years old. 9.
But this wasn't some kind of golden ticket to an easy life. Not at all. His reign kicked off with a massive, monumental task. He had to clean up the absolute chaos his own father had left behind.
You see, his dad, the pharaoh Akhenaten, was a bit of a revolutionary. He had completely turned Egypt's entire religious system on its head. And for a society that was built on thousands of years of tradition, that was, to put it mildly, a total disaster. The people were not happy.
I mean, the conflict was just huge. Akhenaten basically threw out the entire pantheon of Egyptian gods, Ra, Anubis, all of them, for just one single deity, the Aten. He even moved the capital city. This was a radical, shocking break from tradition, and somehow a 9-year-old kid was supposed to fix all of it.
So you have to wonder, what was life actually like for a child ruler with the weight of an entire empire sitting on his shoulders?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't all fun and games. I mean, he was surrounded by advisors who were probably running the show. He was constantly being pushed to undo everything his father had done and bring back the old gods. And to keep the royal bloodline pure, he was married to his own half-sister. The expectations on him were just immense, and his actual power probably pretty limited.
So he somehow navigates all this incredible pressure for a solid decade. But then his story takes a very sharp and very mysterious turn. He's crowned pharaoh at 9, and he's dead by 19. That's it. His whole incredibly turbulent reign was crammed into just 10 years of his youth. I mean, he died at the age most of us are just starting to figure out what we want to do with our lives.
And this, of course, is the great question that has fascinated people for a century now. How does a teenage king, seemingly at the height of his power, just suddenly die? Well, modern science has given us a few clues from his mummy. We've got a few leading theories. Some researchers think a high-speed chariot accident is the most likely culprit. Others point to a really badly broken leg that could have gotten infected, a death sentence back then. And, of course, there's always that lingering question, was it something more sinister, like an assassination? The truth is, we may never know for sure.
After his short life and mysterious death, Tutankhamun was buried, and then, pretty much instantly forgotten. His successors, they worked hard to erase his father's controversial reign from the history books, and in doing that, King Tut himself just became a historical footnote. He was lost to the sands of time for over 3,000 years.
But this is where the story gets really incredible, because being forgotten was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
Okay, fast forward 3 millennia to 1922. A British archaeologist, Howard Carter, has been searching for years in the Valley of the Kings and has found almost nothing. He's just about to give up, and then his team stumbles on a hidden staircase, leading to a discovery that would change history forever.
And here is the brilliant, beautiful irony. Because Tut was a relatively minor king, his tomb wasn't as big or obvious as the tombs of giants like Ramesses the Great. So, over the centuries, grave robbers hit all the major targets and plundered them, but Tut's tiny, hidden tomb was just overlooked. It stayed sealed, a perfect time capsule. When Carter finally poked a hole through the doorway, his partner asked him, "Can you see anything?" And his famous reply just says it all. Yes, wonderful things. He later described the scene, saying there was everywhere the glint of gold. It was the single greatest treasure trove ever discovered.
And that's really the core of his story. In life, King Tut was a minor king who had a short, difficult reign. But in death, he became a global superstar. Thanks to that one incredible discovery, he is, without a doubt, the most famous pharaoh who ever lived.
So Tutankhamun's legacy wasn't built on epic battles or grand reforms. It was built on a stroke of pure, accidental luck, the simple fact that his tomb wasn't found. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of history is really shaped not by what people did, but by what just happened to be left behind?